My name is Madison, a 39-year-old janitor. I've been working for a company that handles office cleaning for corporations, and as a single person in my 40s. I'm close to 20 years of service since I started at 20. The reason I chose this job was to take care of my mother, who fell ill. We were a single-parent family, just my mother, my brother, and me. At one point, my mother became seriously ill, and I had to drop out of vocational school to ensure I had time to accompany her to medical appointments and assist her at home. The janitorial job I found allowed me to ensure I had time to assist my mother. Now, I truly feel fortunate to have this job. My boss and my seniors understand my situation well and always treat me with great kindness. The juniors are also adorable. I thought there couldn't be a better workplace anywhere. My mother passed away when I was 25 and my brother was 19. It was as autumn ended and winter began. The shock of losing my mother made me frequently absent from work. With the major cleaning season approaching, the company was entering its busiest period. During such a busy time, my colleagues would say, "It's okay, Madison, we'll wait until you feel better," and were genuinely concerned about me. Although I appreciated their concern, I wanted to just shut myself out from everything. I wanted to go with my mother. But I had a brother to take care of. Feeling sorry for my brother, who lost his mother before reaching adulthood, I motivated myself to be strong and somehow continued working. At that time, my brother Steve was still a college student. I looked out for him, giving him money for school supplies when he advanced a grade and picking him up whenever he was late coming home. When he found a job, I gave him a suit as a celebration gift. My income was modest, but I did my best, thinking I was doing things in place of our mother. After our mother's death, Steve started suggesting, "Why don't you quit being a janitor, or find a better job?" He was probably dissatisfied with the low income and the social stigma. It was very painful every time he said such things, because I wasn't in the mental state to consider changing jobs. It was my colleagues at work who kindly supported me through this. Eventually, Steve put a lot of effort into job searching and landed a position at a major corporation. It was a company that everyone knows, often seen in TV commercials and internet ads. Steve's first salary was nearly twice my pay. His joy at that time was like that of a little boy who had just received a lot of pocket money. "Look, sis. I surpassed you in just 1 month. Amazing, right? Check out this pay slip." Steve was truly ecstatic, showing it off to everyone. "Sis, quit your janitor job and get a good one like me. Hey, watch how you speak. I like my current job. Stop with the sour grapes. The pay is totally different." While I wished he would choose his words more carefully, I was relieved to see his efforts rewarded. Sitting in front of our mother's portrait, I reported, "Steve has become admirable." However, as Steve grew more proud of his company, he started heading in a bad direction. He bragged about being praised by his superiors for his work. Despite being new, he was scheduled to participate in a significant project. As his sister, I was proud, but Steve increasingly looked down on his colleagues without discrimination. "I'm expected to do well and I am, but my peers are just not up to par. It'd be terrible if their incompetence dragged my evaluation down," he would say nonchalantly. He seemed to underestimate the workplace and society as a whole. This attitude would trip him up eventually. I admonished him for his behavior. "I don't think there's such a difference among new employees. Everyone's just starting out." Then Steve scoffed, "Look at you, a low-educated janitor acting all knowledgeable." I was annoyed and said, "That's because I've been in the workforce longer than you. So I know there's not that much difference in people's abilities." "Oh? Does your cleaning company have college graduate newbies? Before you preach to me, go tell them they're wasting their lives." My brother ridiculed me and went out drinking. I wonder if he'll learn his lessons someday. Despite my concerns, my brother's overconfidence only accelerated. It started with the superiority he felt from earning more than his sister. That transformed into a flawed self-perception of being exceptionally talented, distorting his personality. He would say anything he wanted to me. Initially, I overlooked it, thinking he was just excited about his new job, but gentle verbal admonishments didn't resonate at all. After realizing this, I tried scolding him sternly, but, unfortunately, it made no difference. I started losing confidence in how I was interacting with my brother. As time went by, several years passed. I continued my job as a janitor. My brother seemed to be climbing the corporate ladder smoothly, but his disdain for others worsened. Then, my brother moved in with and married his girlfriend Olivia. This partner, too, shares my brother's overconfidence and has been a source of trouble for me. Olivia was much younger, and from my perspective, she was from a completely different generation. The first conversation I had with her when my brother introduced us was, "So, Madison, is it true you're a janitor?" "Yes, it is. It's a fulfilling job, and I enjoy it." "Ew, isn't that dirty work?" "I'd hate it." "Sounds smelly." My brother, listening by the side, chimed in, "Right? Unthinkable, isn't it? It's unsanitary. She's also ugly and broke. But can't help it. She's family, sorry." I was dumbfounded and don't remember much after that. After she left that day, I yelled at my brother. "That's rude of you. Can't help it because she's family, what is that? And her? You shouldn't judge people by their job or income." My brother was shocked by my sudden fury but fumbled for words to retort. "Shut up. You dropped out of vocational school and I have a college degree. So does Olivia. It's only natural we'd say something. You're living a loser's life with low income and a bottom-tier job." With those harsh words, my brother stormed out. I cried in frustration and sadness. I had to drop out of vocational school to take care of our sick mother. My brother knew that. Yet, he said those things. It's true my income is low, but I managed to pay for his tuition fees. I did my best, thinking I was standing in for our mother. I must have messed up somewhere in dealing with him. I looked in the mirror while crying. The comment about being ugly bothered me. I look a lot like my brother. I'm not beautiful or pretty, but I don't think I'm that ugly. But maybe I do need to take better care of myself. I wonder if changing my appearance a bit would change his perception of me. Well, even if I spruced up, it's not like my brother's character would change. If anything, marrying a woman with similar values probably reinforced his overconfidence. I discussed it with my coworkers, but I started to feel like there was no way to fix my relationship with my brother. Then one day, I received a postcard from my brother and his wife. "We've moved." I had no idea. From the address, it seemed like a detached house. What's this all about? Kind of cold. If they had told me, I would have congratulated them and even helped with the moving. Since I had things I wanted to talk about too, I decided to use this as an opportunity to call them after a long time. "Hello, I got your postcard." "Ah." I could hear my brother's cheerful voice over the phone. "Awesome, right? A house at our age. It's because I'm successful. Wouldn't be possible without my efforts." "Yeah, amazing, amazing." It was the usual boasting, but somehow I found it nostalgic and listened to a lot of what my brother had to say. It was after that when I brought up my own news. "Actually, I have something to tell you. Just the other day, my company got a contract to clean your company's building. We might see each other from time to time." "Huh. That's great for you. It's not often you get to be in such a big building unless you're working there." If only he had stopped at "that's great." "There's one more thing. I have a boyfriend now." "What? Really?" My brother sounded genuinely surprised. "Yes. He's older and a wonderful person. I've been taking care of myself since you commented, you know. He was charmed by me from the start." I joked. Then my brother said, "That's a great reflection on me then." Somehow, he sounded proud of himself. Well, I won't say he had no part in it. So, I want to introduce him to you. He's eager to meet you too, so is it okay if we come over soon? We'll bring a housewarming gift too." When I mentioned this casually, he exclaimed, "What? You're coming over?" His cheerful voice suddenly turned somber. "What's wrong? You do realize what your job is, right?" "What? My job? Cleaning? My house is brand new. Meaning, it's clean. I don't want a dirty janitor in my house." "What? Janitors are dirty so they can't enter a new house? I was confused. My mind went blank. Isn't it obvious to hesitate in situations like this? I'm sure your colleagues would understand. You're lacking common sense. You should apologize. Red rage started boiling inside my blank mind. And I felt the anger that filled me was on the verge of exploding. Hesitate because my job is dirty? Lacking common sense? Apologize? Don't be absurd. I couldn't hold back anymore and raised my voice. You disrespect people too much. That's extremely rude. I could have tolerated it if it was just me. But implicating my coworkers too, that was unacceptable. I could sense my brother recoiling on the other end of the phone. He was aggressive towards those he perceived as weak, but crumbled when faced with pushback. Do you really think a person's value is determined by their job? That's truly lacking common sense. Apologize. Why are you suddenly getting so angry? I won't forgive this. How could you become so insensitive? Mom would definitely be disappointed. Insensitive. That's you. Your so-called boyfriend probably doesn't have a prestigious job either. Anyone reasonable wouldn't be involved with a janitor. If you weren't my actual sister, I wouldn't associate with a dirty woman like you. If you weren't my actual brother, I would have stopped trying a long time ago. That's my sentiment exactly. I cut my relationship with you. Don't ever contact me again. Fine. Understood. Goodbye then. It was a childish exchange of tit for tat, but I couldn't manage an adult response anymore. My brother tried to say something else, but I ignored it and hung up. I resolved to part ways with my brother. He's the only sibling I have in this world, but I can't handle it anymore. In my brother's view, a janitor like me doesn't deserve respect. Even though we're siblings, if our values are this different, it's better for both of us not to be involved with each other anymore. It's okay. My brother has grown up enough. This is goodbye. I've come to terms with my feelings. Several months have passed since I declared estrangement from my brother. By some twist of fate, I was assigned to clean at my brother's workplace. I think my boss was trying to be considerate, but I am really not looking forward to it. But giving my all to the job at hand is my principle. I suppressed my feelings and headed to my brother's company. The building was truly large and spacious. With such a vast space, there's no way I'd run into my brother. Even if we did meet, he probably wouldn't recognize me. Thinking this made me feel a bit better. I switched my focus to cleaning while pushing the cart filled with cleaning supplies. It was in the afternoon that day. While mopping the floor, I noticed a group of about 5 men drinking coffee in front of a vending machine, chatting. I'm really sorry for the inconvenience. Enough already, give me a break. How many years have you been working here? Report and consult before it becomes a situation where the whole team has to clean up after you. Yes, sir. There have already been 3 similar incidents in just this term. I'm sorry. So the man apologizing made a mistake, and everyone's working hard to recover. They must be tired. With that sentiment, I continued mopping without looking their way. Your peers are already team leaders, and some are even at manager level. Try a bit harder, will you? I'm sorry. He's being reprimanded severely. They should forgive him already. I want to mop the space in front of that group and reach the other side of the corridor anyways. After reprimanding the man who apparently made the mistake once more, the group returned to their office. When the group passed by me, I saw a familiar face. My brother. The one being scolded for the mistake was my brother. No way. My brother also saw me, froze for a moment, then his face went pale. But without saying anything to me, he quickly followed his team and left the scene. During the rest of my work, my brother kept coming to mind. He was supposed to be the most successful among his peers, but the brother I saw just now looked nothing like that. More like a burden to the company, a straggler. He seemed like an employee who frequently makes mistakes and is always apologizing to those involved. It was an intuition formed from seeing various company organizations and human relationships through my cleaning jobs. The belief that he was a capable person was just my brother's vanity. At least in the beginning, things might have been going smoothly for him. Just as I predicted, his overconfidence might have led to negligence, allowing his colleagues to surpass him and trip him up. Given his nature of easily looking down on others, it's not surprising. But there's no need for me to worry about him. It's unlikely my brother would ever turn to me for help. We are strangers now, having severed our ties. A few days after realizing the truth, I saw my brother again. While I was cleaning the main lobby, my brother came down the elevator with someone else. Ah, shoot. I left the paper bag with the samples behind. No problem. I'll go get it, so please wait here. It's fine, I'll go. I'm not much help anyway. Just make sure to support me when you get promoted. Stop saying that. I'll go get it. The man, who seemed to be a colleague, cheerfully got back on the elevator to fetch the forgotten item. He used to claim he was capable, and said quite a few rude things to me. From a distance, I looked at my brother shrinking in a corner of the lobby and felt pity. While wiping the leaves of the lobby's plants, thinking about this, my senior coworker approached quietly and said, "Isn't that your brother?" "Yes, it is. Seems like he's having a tough time, let's just leave him be." My senior glanced at my brother worriedly before returning to her position. Perhaps feeling the weight of our looks, my brother, who had been cowering in the corner, glared at me and walked over. "Hey. What are you doing here?" "Cleaning." "That's not what I mean." "Why are you here?" "It's my job." As I curtly replied, my brother lost his composure and raised his voice. "Don't you dare tell anyone about me looking pitiful at work, got it?" It felt like he was unloading all his work frustrations on me. The people around us started to stare at my brother as he yelled. Concerned about the attention, I whispered, "You're drawing attention. Be quiet. You have no right to tell me what to do. Everyone's watching, brother. Please, lower your voice." Trying to calm him down, I reached out to hold his hand, but he recoiled, "Don't touch me with your dirty hand." He aggressively wiped where I had touched and continued his tirade. "You're trying to cause trouble for me, aren't you? What do you want? Trouble? What are you talking about?" I was utterly confused. "I mean, don't tell Olivia. Understand?" "Oh, I see. Is it about your challenges at work? Or concerns about promotions? Which one don't you want me to mention?" "It's both, obviously." He was genuinely afraid I'd spill his work situation to Olivia. "Wait. Are you still pretending everything's fine? Be quiet. Don't speak to me like that." Such harsh words. My brother, oblivious to the onlookers, kept hurling insults at me. The company must be really stressing him out. He's trying to lighten his own heart by looking down on me. "I'm not your scapegoat." Then, a voice from behind said, "That's quite disrespectful to someone from the cleaning staff. Be quiet." "Huh? Who are you?" Finally noticing the commotion around him, my brother started looking around frantically. Perhaps unable to bear my brother's rude behavior any longer, a man from the crowd stepped forward. Dressed in a neat suit, with gray hair, an elderly man, his dignified presence was evident. Seeing the man, my brother instantly became flustered. The man stood next to me and gently placed his hand on my back. Such insults like dirty or incompetent are not acceptable. Please apologize to this individual. But she's my sister. We were just having a sibling quarrel. My brother, trying to make excuses in his flustered state, was met with my retort, "I thought we had decided to go our separate ways." "Shut up." My brother showed a two-faced response, acting deferential towards the gray-haired man but aggressive towards me. Into this exchange, the man interjected, "If it's a family matter, then it concerns me as well." "What?" "Pleased to meet you. I'm Brandon, your sister's partner." "What?" My brother was utterly dumbfounded. "I'm an executive from an affiliate company of yours, and a director of your company. It was unfortunate that we couldn't greet each other the other day." What?" Faced with a situation completely beyond his understanding, my brother was in panic. Feeling a bit awkward, I gave Brandon a side eye. "You didn't have to step in now. If not now, then when?" he said with a friendly smile. "Is it really true, sis?" My brother was visibly anxious. Well, he would be, considering he was facing an executive of his company. It's true. When our company secured the cleaning contract for this building, I accompanied our president. He took a liking to me while managing that contract. No way. It's true. When your president couldn't explain in detail, she clarified everything logically, and I was impressed. I asked her out. A murmur of surprise echoed through the lobby. Embarrassing, to say the least. I heard you say that she was a loser with no decent job and no respectable man would go out with a dirty janitor. I didn't say that. Regardless of the truth, I expect an apology for the disrespect you showed your sister. My brother, pale-faced, had no choice but to listen to Brandon's firm words. You're Madison's brother, right? Please be more supportive of your sister. My coworker, who had been cleaning the lobby with me, had somehow made her way over, and other colleagues from different floors gathered around too. My brother was totally isolated. Seemingly resigned, my brother, barely able to stand, apologized to me. I'm sorry. He was utterly dejected. His voice was small, devoid of any strength, enthusiasm, or emotion. Later, my brother was reassigned to a distant branch of a subsidiary. For the record, my partner had no involvement in my brother's demotion. Worried that his shortcomings at work would be exposed to his wife and that his disrespect towards me had been overheard by company staff. My brother panicked and made successive errors at work. This likely ended his prospects of career advancement among his peers. Olivia came to me in tears after learning about my brother's demotion. Madison, you're involved with an executive of my husband's company, right? Why didn't you tell me sooner? Please help him return to the headquarters, she pleaded. Of course, my response was no. Her pleas were in vain. With the reduced income after the demotion, they likely struggled with their mortgage. And it seemed they might have to let go of their newly built home. What happened to my brother and his wife afterwards is not my concern. And as for me, I married Brandon. We live happily in our newly built home. I continue to work in the cleaning industry, though I'm less often at the sites now. Because I've become the president of the cleaning company. The company I've worked for all along. When the former president retired, I was appointed as his successor. Me, a president? It seemed impossible. I had my doubts, but I wanted to contribute to the company I love, and I decided to give it my best shot. No matter what anyone says, I intend to continue the work I love at the company I love with pride.